What's up, guys? Naturegirl 30 here, and before I get started with this review, I will say this. They did a really great job when they did a little tribute to Dusty Rhodes. I thought that was the best vignette they ever have done to put the whole thing together. It really was very emotional for a lot of people, and especially in the beginning where they made a tribute to him. I think that was really great. And I know it had to be hard on a lot of people, especially the fans, as well more likely the family of the Rhodes family, as well as those that knew him. It probably was really difficult for them, but God bless that man, and rest in peace, and take care, man. We will see you soon. But anyway, let's get on with this review. I would be in a more energetic mood when it comes to Money in the Bank, but unfortunately I'm not, because my network ended up cutting out right in the middle of Cena versus Owens. And not to mention that when I was having it live, it cut out even then. So my network sucked at that time. But NJ was nice enough to actually send me a link so I'll be able to watch it online. Some of the matches that were separated out for the ones that I missed. So at least I was able to catch up and didn't have to wait for the whole thing to recycle over. It was just ridiculous. And with the app that's on my 360, it can be reliable and sometimes it can't be. And that's the annoying part of it. But anyway, let's just get on with this whole pay-per-view. I will say this. It was interesting how they started off with the Money in the Bank match, seeing how the Money in the Bank match is pretty much the second main event. I actually thought they were going to have that in the middle and have John Cena versus Owens, I guess, was probably a huge draw. Everybody was waiting for that match. So I kind of understand why they had it in the middle. But I didn't think they would actually start Money in the Bank off early. I thought they were going to start with the Divas title or the IC belt first. But either or, it's cool. Honestly, I don't mind Sheamus being in the Money in the Bank holder. I actually was happy to see him in Money in the Bank holder because Sheamus has a lot of heel heat. And he can bring a lot to the belt once he has the belt around him. Because people don't really like his character that much, which means the belt's going to have a lot more worth when they actually have him as champion. It's going to have a lot more worth, and it's going to be and it's going to really bring the babyface character up once he takes it off of him. So I'm kind of happy that Sheamus actually did become a Money in the Bank holder, and I'm cool with that. But let's move on down to the Divas match. Now, the Divas match actually was pretty good. It gave Nikki Bella a run for her money, but I kind of understand why they turned them heels. I kind of understand why now, because Nikki holding the belt is boring. She's at 214 days right now, or 200 and some. She's in the 200 plus mark right now, and I really do believe that they're actually trying to beat AJ Lee's record of 295 days. Which means that more than likely, I can't remember when she won the belt, but it seems to me that since the Bellas are not renewing their contracts, her last day is going to be WrestleMania. That's just what it's going to be. They're going to go out with a bang. And I wouldn't be surprised that she holds the Divas title till then. Which means that if she's a heel and people don't like her, it's going to bring more worth to the Divas title because the Divas title lately has been worth less. So I kind of understand why they did it. So honestly, I guess that's cool. If Nikki can actually keep up this whole heel thing and now Bree's being a part of it and the Bella Twins are becoming hated, it will actually work. It'll make the Divas title a lot more have a lot more worth to it. But the one thing that confuses me is, why did Naomi run out? We knew she was there. We saw her during the tribute. And we even saw her behind the scenes. Why are they making all the Divas turn against the Bellas now? I really feel this was a last minute thing. And this was something that really wasn't all the way planned out. And that's pretty sloppy. But honestly, I know why they did it. Seeing how the Bellas are not going to be coming back after next year. So I guess we got to roll with it. I don't hate on it, but we gotta roll with it. But let's move on to the next match. Now, I'm gonna talk about this match first before I get into Cena versus Owens. And this was the next to last match. Actually, no, I'm not gonna talk about that yet. Let's talk about the IC belt. The IC belt match was a ripoff. It really was. There were some people that were kind of interested to see Big Show versus Ryback, and it just, as usual with any Big Show match, is slow. And I can't really say it's Big Show size. I've seen bigger dudes that are faster than him. Shoot, Dusty was a fast dude and he was way bigger. But Big Show's just slow. And so is Ryback. Ryback is as quick as his opponent. And then when he wasn't quick, he slowed down. And it was slow as molasses. I'm kind of happy that The Miz interfered. Because good grief, it was boring. It really was. But I will say this, it's kind of messed up for a title match on a pay-per-view that it's just that you didn't have a clean finish, but I kind of understand why Miz was pissed. So it's going to probably be a triple threat match going on to the next pay-per-view, probably at Battleground. So honestly, guys, I kind of can understand why Miz did it, and I know that this is going to be an overall theme of this review. I kind of understand. But honestly, y'all, it happened. It's going to be a triple threat match, probably the next pay-per-view. So I guess I was cool with it. But Miz's promo coming out was actually pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I mean, The Miz is great when it comes to heel promos. He really is. And in his hometown, pretty good. But let's move on to the first main event of the night. And this was John Cena versus Kevin Owens. Now, the one thing I'm going to say about this is that it was a very intense match. Something that was expected. But it was also something I feared it was going to happen. Is that they were going to do a back and forth. You had Kevin Owens with that epic win at Elimination Chamber. And then once again, it turns around with John Cena winning. Here's the one thing I'm going to say about this. And I was thinking about this when I watched it. Parents, you gotta tell kids, you gotta tell your children that your heroes aren't gonna always win, but that doesn't diminish how they really are. That doesn't diminish who they are. John Cena is still a guy that never gives up. Even if he loses, he still never gives up. That's the one thing that parents need to make clear to their kids. Instead of the kids being upset and they have to find a way to change the whole thing around to make it better, just tell your kids that your heroes aren't gonna always win. But that doesn't diminish who they are. And the reason why I'm saying this is because they should have had Kevin Owens win. Kevin Owens needs to win more than Cena. And just because Cena is booked as a superhero doesn't mean the superhero always wins. Shoot, Superman went dark, which shows that Superman ain't perfect. And neither is Cena. So that's the one thing that parents need to start being parents and make it clear to their kids so the WWE won't be all afraid and start moving things around. But they can't control what the WWE does. But that's just something I really feel that should be out there, and I'm just going to straight out and say it. But as for WWE, it was a really bad call because Kevin Owens is a hot heel. You really want your hot heel to get enough heel heat so you can have a decent payoff at the next pay-per-view. It's going to be a back and forth. You don't want a back and forth with a clean win. You don't. You need to have an interference to build up to the next pay-per-view. Instead of having a clean finish and going back and forth because it'll make the win even more worthless. But if you have a third match, nobody's going to care. Seriously. Owens had a lot more behind him than Cena could ever have. And I was afraid they were going to do this. Because for some reason, oh, our superhero's got to be strong. You don't understand. What will make your superhero strong is if your superhero doesn't give up and keep fighting. These are writers. They should know how to write. Hollywood writers know how to write. Do they know how to write wrestling stories? No. But I will say this. I really feel that if they have a third one, and not a lot of people's going to care about it, they're not. Because they're going to expect a back and forth. We're not stupid anymore. So you got to be smarter about this. But that's just my own personal opinion about that. But anyway, I'm moving on from there. Now, I didn't see the kickoff, unfortunately, because I could not get the network to work. Not during the kickoff. I tried. But, so, the kickoff is pretty much cut off. For those that want to know what happened to the kickoff, look at the WWE website. They probably have the entire results all posted right now. And I'm not going back and watching it either, because I can care less about R-Truth versus King Barrett. Because that match is probably going to be short and pathetic anyway. But I could be wrong. I don't know. But for those that want to know the results of that, go and watch the, well, go and look at the WWE.com. They probably have the results up. But let's move on to the next to the last main event of the night. And well, it really wasn't the next to the last main event. It was something I wanted to see because I've never seen it before. And as I said before, you have two black teams going against each other. Something I have never seen in my life. You have the New Day and you have the Primetime Players on the card going against each other. Something I would never see. And honestly, man, I thought it would be a better match, but it wasn't. And it was fairly short. This is the Primetime Players, like, first title ever. You would think their match would be a little bit longer, let alone a little bit more intense. But I will say this. And Kofi Kingston pretty much being knocked out after the Money in the Bank ladder match, it was nice to see Xavier Woods actually doing something because he didn't contribute at all to the group. So actually see him perform was pretty good, but seeing him lose, yeah. But I mean, yeah, and actually he was the one that caused the loss. So I'm kind of actually interested to see how the New Day is going to pan out on Raw. But either or, guys, it was nice seeing the Primetime Players win. I thought the win would be a little bit more epic, but it wasn't. And I guess I wasn't expecting that either. It was a fairly short match, and it should have been a lot longer. And a little bit more intense, but it wasn't. But anyway, but congratulations to them. Let's move on to the main event of the night. Now, Ambrose versus Rollins. Guys, we knew that this was going to be a very, very brutal match. We just knew. Like, it was something that we expected. We expected this match to be brutal. It was a ladder match. It was very brutal. The only thing that I really wish they did was I wish they stuck to what they did before. Having Ambrose win clean for the second time. He won clean at Elimination Chamber. He should have won clean last night. And I understand that they have plans for Seth Rollins, but I will say this, it doesn't downgrade him at all. Rollins gave it his all. Rollins worked hard for that whole match. So I can't necessarily say it wasn't a good win. I was rooting for Ambrose, but at least Seth Rollins gave it a good match. That's one thing he did. And he didn't downgrade Ambrose at all. He actually made Ambrose look pretty good, as well as making himself look good. It was a great match. And it overall proved a point that Seth Rollins can fight. Even though that whole screwy finish before was ridiculous, and I really feel that Ambrose should have had the belt before, at least neither one of them looks bad. So it was a pretty decent match. I will say it was. But guys, my overall thoughts is this. There were a lot of screwy finishes tonight. Something I really didn't expect from a Money in the Bank ladder match. Or well, not really Money in the Bank ladder match, but Money in the Bank pay-per-view. There were at least 2 matches that had screwy finishes that didn't completely, I mean, I don't know. With the whole Divas and the whole Bella Twins twin magic thing was something that was unexpected. And as well as the ref literally has blinders on, or he is staring at boobs. I don't know. How can you tell when Nikki literally is a blonde and has long hair, her hair down, and the other one has her hair in a ponytail? Are you that daft to where you can't really see who's who, or you're just staring at boobs? I don't know. Maybe he's just staring below. I don't really know. But it is obvious that you could have noticed that something was wrong. That's just me. But besides all that, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. It could have been better. There were some matches that were a little slow, a little boring. But honestly, there were a few matches that had decent payouts. I will say that the last match definitely was pretty brutal, but it had a decent payout in a way. Not fully, because it should have been Ambrose, but it had a decent payout because it made both of them look good. Owens versus Cena was a pretty good match. I can't really say that was decent at all. That's just me. But honestly, guys, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. But as for watching it again, nah, I'm not going to do that. But I want to hear y'all's thoughts about this pay-per-view. Leave a comment in the comment section below or send me a video response on y'all's thoughts. This is Naturegirl 30 signing off. Peace out, y'all. Later.